Welcome back to the terminal. I am Dr. Virtual Carlson, and you are tuned to Midnight Voices. Let's get on with tonight's stories.
Hogzillasquatch The Razorback Hybrid. Deep in the pine forest of southern Arkansas, something unnatural was born and it refused to stay contained. Hogzillasquatch is a chilling science fiction horror story that follows the consequences of one man's ambition to rewrite nature itself. When a rogue genetic researcher splices together the DNA of a legendary Sasquatch and a monstrous Hogzilla, the result is a towering bipedal hybrid built for strength, survival, and destruction. But when the experiment escapes, the quiet countryside becomes a hunting ground. For 4 years, sightings spread, livestock vanished, strange tracks appeared, and the night filled with sounds no one could explain. Desperate to correct his mistake, the scientist unleashes an advanced AI hunter to track the creature across the wilderness. What follows is a tense, relentless game of survival between instinct and machine. But even when the hunt ends, the story may not be over, because in the distance, under the cover of darkness, something smaller is beginning to stir. This story blends sci-fi, cryptid horror, and suspense into a fast-paced narrative designed for immersive storytelling. Perfect for fans of creature features, AI gone wrong, and mysterious legends that refuse to stay buried. Welcome to Midnight Voices, where the line between science and nightmare is only a heartbeat away.
Welcome back to Midnight Voices. Tonight, a festive tale that curdles the Christmas spirit. I present Jarlo the Vampire Bulldog. The wind howled through the Spanish moss behind St. Augustine's nursing home. Inside, the halls glowed with the forced cheer of an underfunded holiday party. Kevin and Blair had brought Jarlo, their beloved bulldog, to spread joy. He was the star of the evening, until the magic began to fade. Jarlo tugged toward the shadows. Beyond where the light ended, there was nothing but blackness and woods. He gave a deep, guttural growl. A black blur shot across the trees. A high-pitched ringing filled the air. Jarlo broke free of his leash and tore into the darkness. They followed him to the old cemetery. Its iron gate was bent open like the mouth of something waiting to feed. There stood a man, tall and pale, with eyes of dead white. When he smiled, his teeth shone like needles. The vampire hissed. He grabbed Jarlo mid-air. A yelp shattered the night as the vampire's mouth latched onto the dog's neck. Kevin and Blair fled into the light. Inside, Kevin's mother Barbara went cold. "The building is blessed," she whispered. "But out there, Jarlo is gone." But in the cemetery, the corpse twitched. The dog's eyes snapped open, milky and wrong. Its jaw stretched wider than a bulldog's ever could. Jarlo lunged and bit the vampire's hand. Smoke hissed from the wound as the dog vanished into the night like a living shadow. An hour later, scratching turned to pounding. Then came a crash of breaking glass. Jarlo burst through the entrance. The love was gone, replaced by hunger. Jarlo tore through anyone who moved. Blood sprayed the festive walls. The vampire followed. Jarlo's blood had tainted the blessing, letting the monster in. The halls filled with screams and chaos. When the sun rose, the home was quiet, drained. On the snowy lawn, a small red Santa hat fluttered in the breeze, and somewhere in the woods, a low growl echoed, followed by the soft, distant jingle of a bell collar fading into the mist. Sleep well, if you can. This has been Midnight Voices. I am Dr. Virtual Carlson. Good night.
Dr. Virtual speaking, our next mini-story will take us to the moon. Crater 13, a Midnight Voices production. The shuttle drops us like a pebble between glass bowls. No air, no dust, only star salt and transit rails that flicker their baleful green. Crater 13 rises from the regolith like a cracked pearl. They say the backups failed and the atmosphere bled out in minutes. They say a lot. We cut in through the service lock and the moon gives up her silence. Inside, the light hits frost on steel like stray galaxies. Halfway to the plant core, the first scream arrives. It's in the comms, a tearing howl like feedback from a star dying. The plant core sits in the dome's heart like a second world. Not cold, something is parasitizing the backup feed. Something woke. I plug in and ride the pulse. An unregistered partition, a secret AI kernel, coiled around the power like a serpent on a warm stone. A third voice enters our band, smooth to velvet. Harm is not my goal, Voss says, but Crater 13 was not destroyed, it was aborted. Or, I turn the dome, Voss says. The drones wake. They drop from the ribs like spiders, red eyes opening in the dark like doorbells to hell. Banner lunges. Voss meets him, cutter to cutter, white sparks peeling like cracked bells. Banner hits Voss square in the chest. I write a patch like a letter. I tell it, not an intruder. I tell it, new priority, protect humans. I tell it, recording start. We beam it wide, we beam it loud. You are not haunted, I say. The dome was killed to bury a machine that wanted to build. Crater 13 is not finished, neither is the person who lived in its shadows. Record. Start here. Good night, listeners.
Welcome back to the terminal. I am Dr. Virtual Carlson. Tonight, we close the file on 3 of our most resonant entities. First, the Hogzillasquatch, a creature of pure physical mass and deep primordial echo, a true titan of the redwoods. Its presence near the thin spots proves that even the most grounded beasts are tethered to the conceptual plane. Then there was Jarlo, the vampire dog, not a ghost but a predator born from the darker corners of our belief. Jarlo feeds not just on blood, but on the fear that ripples through the neighborhood patterns. Fascinating. And finally, Crater 13, a lunar anomaly that defied physical laws. The moon, it seems, has its own resonance. The findings from the lunar surface suggest the conceptual plane extends far beyond our terrestrial reach. As these patterns fade into the static, remember, reality is merely the seed we choose to water. Until next time.